So we begin with a total mess. I was just writing the sort of title card thing and noticed the spelling was odd. This is a Henschel. I thought it was a Heinkel, but I made it when I was about 7, so I didn't pay attention much. And since then I've always thought this aeroplane was a Heinkel. Turns out it's a Henschel. Is there a difference? While you watch this, I'll go and read some books and we may be able to resolve this by the end. The other thing is, I have therefore created confusion. This is the model I was promising at the end of the Siskin. So we can compare this with the Siskin and the Gloucester Gladiator. I think it's a good comparison with the Gloucester Gladiator. It's a biplane, it's an interwar biplane, in fact. And very importantly, it doesn't have a cockpit canopy. This one fought, ooh, the light's bad, this one fought in the Spanish Civil War and I think in the early part of the Second World War. Straightforward, simple, attractive little kit. Ooh, lots of darkness there. One of the disappointing things is, having painted a good man, you don't get to see much of him. Oh well. We're at the same point that we were with the Siskin, where we've got the fuselage and the very small lower wing, and the two are remarkably similar. I think the big difference is this has got a huge engine cowling for a start, but also it's a little bit longer in the fuselage, but only just, and mostly at the snout. These are very similar aircraft for, similar engineering reasons, I'm sure, but it does show a kind of consistency throughout across. You'll be pleased to see that the wing and wheels are back on. I don't know what happened there, but these things do happen. Anyway, talking about the consistencies between these aircraft, well, it does show a natural and an obvious consistency through these interwar aircraft. It's part of what makes me interested. These evolutions are fascinating. Said fascinating. Here's the painting mostly done, just the tidying up to do. One thing I have done is reverse the colours, or at least reverse two colours. Let's find some, the green and the chocolate brown, because the colours given in the instructions aren't the same as the colours on the box, and not the same as some illustrations I've seen. So I think there's a problem with the instruction sheet, or else there were variations in the camouflage. I'm no expert, but I remember having this problem with the Dornier when I was a kid, and reversing those two. It sticks in my mind. So I've done it again. Perhaps I've done the wrong thing. I also had a look on Wings palette and I found one image of this version, and this was how they displayed it. So apart from stumbling on my words, I've made a decision, and that's what I've done. I hope it's a good decision. I left this for a long time because I had to do about 4 coats of, hang on, what's he doing? I had to do about 4 coats of this, what used to be called duck egg blue. I don't know what it is now, it's got a number, because it just didn't want to go on really. It is a great colour, I think it's wonderful, but I don't know if it's just the pot I got, but it didn't want to mix particularly well. And as often happens with the ones that don't mix very well, it had a particular strong chemical smell. We're just going to put the struts on, the bombs on, the fuel tank and the top wing, and that'll be it. One minor problem, I realised I'd put the windshield, I don't know if that's what you really call it on an aircraft, in a bag and put it in the wrong model that I haven't made yet. So one day that will come to light. I remember seeing it yesterday, but I cannot for the life of me think where I put it, and I was doing a big clear up, and I'm not going back there to have a look at all that stuff again. So it will come out one day and I will put it on. So yeah, here we go. Let's put the wings on. I do like these large wing struts, these single massive ones. Let's get a good angle, that kind of thing. Unfortunately the little spikes come off that one. I know they go back to the First World War. I'm trying to think. Again, Germans, I think it's the Roland, probably got a number. At least they go back that far, if not further. They're great. It makes putting the wings on easier, but they're really stylish. And they have a certain sort of past quality to them. And I've noticed that one is falling over. This is it, basically done. I've just got a little spike to add on there. I'll do that after I put the transfers on. Otherwise, I'll break it. And I know I'll break it because I remember doing it. The minute I saw that spike, I thought, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen. So that'll be the last thing to go on. Still can't find the windshield. And I've got to trim a bit of yellow paint off the propeller. Sorry, there. But all in all, yeah, just about done. I'm in the kitchen because that's where the water lives, I suppose. Here's the transfers. I'm not going to do that one, but there's some really good markings on there. They'll come in handy another day, won't they? But I'm going for those. Dinner's ready. So I've looked up Henschel. Apparently they were sort of arms manufacturers of all kinds of things, including Tiger tanks. So I was muddled up as a child. Interesting comparison, the Gloucester Gladiator was first produced in 1934 but entered service in 1937, whereas this aircraft seems to have had a sort of pre-production batch completed in 1936. And finally the Gloucester Gladiator was considered sort of out of date by the time the Second World War started, as was this one. But this one carried on fighting, and apparently, according to Wikipedia, in 1943, one high-up asked if they could sort of start making these again, because they were so useful on the Eastern Front where the weather was so bad, and this could cope. And he was told that the factory had already dismantled all tools and jigs in 1940, so he couldn't have any more. That's a bit of a testament to this little workhorse. I think soon we'll have to put some of these models side by side and do a bit of a review of the aircraft all together.